Hey guys, Ultimate here, and today we are working on my 2003 Infiniti G35. Might be hard to see right now. When I take some of this stuff off, you'll get a better look, but I'm having a valve cover leak. So got some work to do here. Is if you're working on the VQ35 DE motor, even if it's the rev up, make sure you buy all new valve covers. The spark plug tubes have seals on them. They're not replaceable. They're integrated into the valve cover. Don't, do all the work of taking it off and then putting it back on. Your spark plug seals leaking 6 months or so. Put all new valve covers on it too. So let's get started. We're gonna start taking stuff apart so we can get down to where we need to get down to. I think I'm gonna attack right here. Start removing this this intake right here, and let's keep moving. So, try to take you out. Cool. You right here. Cool. Squeeze that down. Work that out. Good, just like that. Okay. Pull this up and out. Just like that. There we go. Pull you up and out. Good, good, good. Look at all that away. There, all that being off, let us start working off the things that are attached to the upper plenum, like this hose right here. Like that. Whew. Alright, you're out. Good. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna wrap this. Hold on, I'll show you guys how I do this when I'm done. We're going to get this off next. There you go, vacuum line. I'm just gonna leave it like that for right now. For the most part, I unplugged everything that is connected to the upper plenum. Now I'm gonna start removing all these bolts. Before that, I'm going to mark these so that I remember where these hoses go. Give me a second. Alright, as you can see, I marked my hoses with some masking tape so that when you're taking so many things apart, you don't forget hoses, you don't forget electrical connectors. You don't want to mix things up or completely not put them on and have problems when you put it back together. That's the way of how I keep track of things. Alright, now I'm just going to start removing a bunch of 10mm bolts all over the place, and I'll get back to you. I don't really think you need me to, this isn't very rocket sciencey. I'm going to pull these all off, then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all off. Okay, one thing I'm going to do before I keep going, before I pull the plenum up off, I'm going to remove my negative terminal. I'm doing this because I'm removing the throttle body. I'm removing a lot of sensors. Anytime you're taking a lot of sensors off, just take the battery off, save yourself the trouble. So that's what I'm going to do. Jesus. There we go. And up and out she goes. Good. Now we can take this out. Good. I'm gonna reach right here, pull that sensor out. I'm gonna label that too. But oh, I remember. I think there are hoses that are attached to the bottom of this. Give me a second. Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to remove this like so. I'm just gonna break them all. Okay. Alright, these are definitely coolant lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these little pinchers right here so that before this comes off, we're not leaking coolant everywhere. Let's try this one more time. Now we're out. Keep coolant from leaking out, and I'm going to wrap these with a color so I don't forget these, because I start the motor up without attaching these and coolant's gonna start shooting right out. So I'm gonna wrap these too. Alright, this is what our lower plenum looks like. We're gonna clean this thing up too. Got a good feeling that this is gonna look pretty disgusting down here. I'll be putting the oil catch can on this car very soon, but we're gonna clean all this too. We're gonna make it try to look new. We're gonna remove these 2, 4, 6 bolts. I think these 2 bolts right here hold the fuel rail on, and then we'll pull this up. Alright, I do want to mention something here about organization. I have all my upper plenum bolts in here, my lower plenum bolts in here. This is how I don't confuse the bolts, is now I don't mix anything up. Now let's take this plate off. And look. Okay, I'll clean this all up too. If you look all up in there, that actually doesn't look as bad as I thought. Oh, what the hell? Put that here. Put this back here so I don't forget that. Put this away. She should pull up. Alright. Alright, slowly but surely, we're working our way down. I'm going to lift this up. Got a gasket here. What we're going to do here is, right now, we're going to cover these holes. These holes go directly into our intake valves. We do not want anything to fall in there. Bolt anything, it will be ugly. Okay, instead of me pulling off the entire fuel rail, I think I'm just going to remove these 2 bolts right here. These R10s. Be prepared to see some fuel. It's going to be expected. Is the fuel rail. Let's see here. It should move for me. Okay, good. And that popped out. And just like that, we removed the fuel rail line. I'm gonna put something around here because that's gas. We don't want that just be leaking everywhere. I'm just gonna kind of wrap it like this. Just like that. You don't want no fires. Gasoline is very flammable. One of the biggest parts about doing this right now is we're going to want to remove the wiring harness out of our way. Same way I marked all these fuel injectors, we're going to mark these connectors and where they go. I'll tell you one thing, I actually did mess up one time years ago. I put my, what is this, my number 4 coil on my number 6 coil before my number 6 on my number 4. So it's important to label your stuff. We're going to take this stuff off. We're going to remove this harness. I don't want to completely remove it, but we got to move it enough out the way that we can pull the cover completely up. So let's start removing these little bolts, little connectors, sensors, and everything, and we'll keep going. I'm going to just skip through this. I'm going to pull every connector, every hose I pull out. I'm going to put some masking tape so I know which sensor goes where. Okay, so just start pulling these out, mark them, and then we'll keep going. We're going to start here by removing this right here. And this is just a breather hose. Try to pull that off. Good, came right off. Nice. Put this to the side. I should label this, I think I will, so we know that this breather hose goes right here. Okay, so Only thing is just a 10 mil here, 10 mil here that holds the little harnesses on. I did have to remove the fuel injector harness. See, I got that labeled down there. The cam sensor is labeled. The vacuum line is labeled. This is actually the upper oxygen sensor bracket. Upstream oxygen sensor right there. And then got that labeled blue, green, and pink. This is even for my own reference as well. With that being said here, I can start popping off these coils. Once I pop off these coils, we can start to actually remove these 10 mils. They're all 10 mils here. So I'm just gonna pull these off, and then we'll see what our coils look like. If they are really oiled up, I'm gonna have to go get some new coils too, unfortunately. Hopefully I don't, but we'll see. Alright, those 10 mils out. We are dry. That's good to see. I'm gonna just put this right there. Let's pull this one out. Dry. Nice. We are gonna change the spark plugs though. I want to mention, only reason I'm not like gun-ho about changing the ignition coils is if they're not oiled up, they're not giving me any problems, they're not getting any misfires. So I'm not really pressed about replacing them right now. If they go bad in the future, it's actually a lot easier to just replace the coils even with everything on the car. That's the only reason why I'm not pressed about replacing these. And then right here, last one, no oil. Nice. Okay, so I'm just gonna push all those back in here. Then what I'm gonna do is simply start removing all these 10 mils around here. Like I said, no rocket science. If there's any kind of issue I run into that makes it difficult for me to pull these off, I'll bring it up. I'll tell you what kind of tool I use, whatever the case may be. I don't know if I have to remove this or not, but I got a gut feeling that I will. We will see about that. I think I will have to remove this as well though. I'm probably going to get a gasket for it too. Alright, hold on you guys. If you see that bolt, let me see here. You see this bolt right here, right there. It's not far from the knock sensor bolt that I took out to get this, to get that out. Remove that. It's a 10 mil right here. If you remove that 10 mil, you'll have the free play to move this wiring harness around the way we want to, so that it'll be easier to pull out this passenger side valve cover. It's going to be really hard to remove this valve cover without moving this wiring harness because it's kind of big and blocky. So I'm going to remove that 10 mil and then we're going to go back on top of the vehicle. Okay, so once I remove that 10 mil down there, notice how much more play we have in the harness, which is good. The only difficult part is going to be that bottom corner. I basically just used 1/4 inch with a wobble socket to kind of get down here and work it in. Like I said, it's a tight spot, so that's going to be the more difficult one to do. It is what it is. We're gonna pull this out now. Just gonna lay them to the side. The order that they're in doesn't really matter. The big part is just that we retain the tape so that we don't forget what harness goes where. And then I'll put new tape the same color in the same spots so we don't mix up our wires. Okay. I did indeed have to pull, I think this is like a cam phaser or something like that. I had to pull that off so that we kind of have the clearance we need to pull this up and out. Ooh, it's going to be fun putting this back on. Alright. And that's out. And this is what our cams look like with the motor off. This actually looks pretty good in my opinion. Like I said, we're just gonna clean up this stuff. The cams look nice and have nice good color. The rollers are nice and smooth. I don't see any like gouging or anything. This looks really good. This makes me feel good. I don't see any sludge. That's just a good thing to see. So before I keep going though, see all this dirt and grime in here? We don't want that falling into the motor, nor do we really want that getting in the gasket. So I'm gonna vacuum up around here, get that dirt out. We don't want that falling in the motor. Okay, the job here is just to clean up around here. We're gonna clean up all this gasket maker, see, just like that, and make sure we got a nice clean surface when we put the new stuff on. So let me clean this up. Now, as you can see here, we have our surface nice and clean. Get as clean as you can in these corners. I know it's a tough spot. Just get it as clean as you can possibly get it. And then, with that being said, we're gonna go and prep our new valve cover and get it on there. Hey, you guys. I'm gonna be using a little bit of ultra black gasket maker. This is by Permatex. We're gonna use a very small bead, The problem what people do is some people cake this stuff on. If you cake it on, you can actually do more harm than good to the gasket. I do want to say that this is not essential. These gaskets are designed to be put on without Permatex. I like doing this because it's like an added seal. It makes the gaskets last longer, in my opinion, for something that's rubber. And for these spark plug tube seals, these are also not. You cannot take these out and reuse these. So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna use this too in here. So let's first just put it around here, and then all you're gonna see me do is just run a very thin bead around here. Anything you get on the outside, just pull it off. And that's it. A little bit around these seals, help this kind of seal up. Just like that. Here as well. And then one more right here. Okay, now let's get in the car. I am doing this by myself, so wish me luck. I got my finger kind of tucked on this backside. We want to make sure that we don't have anything clipping it. And we're kind of gonna almost bring it in here like this first. And I still got my finger around this gasket, so I know that it's not coming off. Pull this up, over, have my finger, I'm just gonna run my finger all the way through here. Make sure that this gasket is all the way on. And this gasket does not feel like it has moved at all. Okay. Yep. The entire gasket is still in place. Now we're just going to push it down. Running my hand through here one more time, especially in this corner area. Yes, everything is in place. Okay. And now we are on. Yes, sir. Okay. With that being said, let's get the bolts on here. Start inside, progressively work your way outside. So here, 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 something like that. All the bolts are back on. Now it's time to torque things. Like I said, we're gonna start in the middle. I'm basically gonna go from here, 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 and then there and there. Like, I'll take an actual picture of the actual torque spec, of the actual torque sequence, but start in the middle, work your way out. These get torqued to 74 inch-pounds, okay? 74 is inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. 74 inch-pounds is like 6 foot-pounds, but you need to get yourself a 1/4 inch torque wrench, okay? If you try doing this with a 3/8 wrench, 6 pounds is just so little that I guarantee you use a 3/8 wrench and you'll probably break these bolts off and you'll have a really bad day ahead of you. For this one down here by this water line, I'm going to use this impact swivel to give me just a little bit better angle. You don't really want to use that when you're torquing things, but it's okay. It was not the end of the world. Good. Take this impact swivel back off. All those things torqued down, okay? What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull out these old spark plugs on this side. Pretty much what I do on this side, we're gonna do on the same side, and then we'll go on. So let's pull these plugs out. Okay, I'm using a spark plug socket, which is a 5/8, but what's important is this has a magnet on it, okay? What that magnet, it'll do is when it comes out, it'll pull out with the spark plug, all right? So simply walk it down there. Oh wow, that's coming out pretty easily. And she's out. All right, before I continue, let's talk about spark plugs real fast, okay? The OEM spark plug is a NGK laser double platinum spark plug. I'm actually upgrading this to a NGK IX Iridium plug, alright? Little lesson about spark plugs. Just because one is more expensive does not make it more better. Platinum is an expensive metal. Platinum lasts very long. That's why a lot of companies like to go OE platinum, alright? Platinum has the worst performance, but it has the longest durability. Usually you get about 100,000 miles out of these. If your OEM plug is a laser iridium, usually that means that you have a iridium tip and a platinum ground, and that's how you get around that 120k miles. The one thing about this plug, which is a Iridium IX plug, this is basically a performance plug. I think it has an iridium tip and an iridium ground, okay? So they don't last as long as the platinum ones. So just because they're cheaper, these actually do perform better. Believe it or not, you don't see them nowadays, but copper plugs actually perform better than all of them. And copper plugs, you can get them things for like $3 a piece. Only difference is copper plugs only last about 40,000 miles. So that's a little weird, little trigonometry with spark plugs, okay? And hopefully we'll see a little bit of a maybe slight gas mileage improvement. I usually get about 24 miles to the gallon. When I post this video, I'll see if I get anything better. But one thing you do, right? You're not supposed to gap iridium plugs, but it's okay to check the gapping on them, right? Use this kind of tool. This is the safest one to do. And then we need to be at 0.44. As soon as I put this on here, I'm not going to jam it in, but we should feel resistance. And that's exactly what I feel. I checked all 6 of these and they're all the correct spec, but you're not supposed to actually gap these, just to give you guys a heads up. Now I'm going to put it in here. No anti-seize or anything like that either, okay? This silver coating is actually like a zinc coating, and this basically is a substitute for anti-seize. If you put anti-seize on here, it could possibly drip down, it could foul out the spark plugs. It's just not worth the risk if you ask me. So put this in here and we're gonna start snugging it down. Notice I'm doing this by hand. I'm not using my electric wrench. You don't want to do that. You don't want to cross thread this. We are torquing it right into the motor. And pretty much right about there. Doesn't feel like it wants to go anymore. I'm gonna stop. That's maybe no more than like 16 foot-pounds, 17 foot-pounds, something like that. And I'm gonna do this 2 more times. All right, now before we put these spark plug boots back in, I'm gonna put a little dielectric grease on them. A little dielectric grease helps, you know, make sure there's good conductivity of electricity, and that these come off easier in the future. So you just get some like this, dab it in, and kind of spread it around the rim with the tool. All right, nothing special, just like that. And we're just gonna pop you in like so. Nice. And I'm just gonna simply snug these down. That's it, nothing crazy. And that's it. For the most part, we're done on this side. I'm gonna transition to the other side. I'm gonna skip that part. I don't really like doing redundancy. If there's anything that's difficult for me to do, I'll let you guys know. But we're gonna do the same thing we did on this side, on that side. Let's get busy. Okay, and now let us everything is back on, everything is torqued down. With these, make sure you get new gaskets. I think these are like cam phasers or something like that. I torqued them down the same torque spec as the valve covers. They felt pretty good. Now hopefully you labeled everything that I mentioned, and you're going to put everything back where it belongs. It's just putting a whole bunch of connectors back, hoses back on, etc. For this hose right here, mine is brick hard, so I moved on from it. I just went and got some universal hose. I'm going to stick it on, get some clamps on it, move on. So I'll get to you guys when everything's hooked up on this. Okay, got these back on. All my connectors are in. Have my fuel rail, especially one of the most important things. If you're reusing the seal, cool. I have a kit full of O-rings, so put a little silicone on and slide that in, snug them down. Your cam sensors are in, fuel injectors are in, hose is in. This was a shipping problem. I had to fix this, but you know how that goes. All my connectors are in. Vacuum line is in. This cam sensor down here especially, very sneaky hidey spot, that's in. Oxygen sensor is in. I'll put that 10 mil on right there. Remember to get your gasket. It comes with the kit. When I put the part number, put this on. It lines up on these splines. You got to make sure you put it on the right way. I'm gonna pull these napkins out. We got our plenum here. I cleaned up the line. I mean, I cleaned up the galley passway, all this. We're gonna get this right back on here like that, and then we'll put it all back together. Okay, so give me a second. This goes right here. Just put all your hoses, fuel line stuff back together. All right, same concept. Inch pounds, 114 inch pounds is about 9.5 pounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and back here, it's one right here. 8. All right, cool. install your their hex bits. I don't remember. I'll put the size up. Make sure you got your throttle body gasket right here. Make sure you got your sensor plugged in. Okay. With all that being said, now we're just gonna put our intake on. I will put up a description or a diagram of the torque sequence. I really don't feel like shipping to you guys. I'm tired. The one thing I'm going to tell you guys is this: these bolts are long and they're thin. I found that 70 inch-pounds felt good. Anytime you're turning one of these bolts and you feel like the bolt is starting to get loose instead of getting snug, just stop. Stop. If you keep going, you'll snap the bolt off inside the plenum, and you're going to have to take it off. You're going to have to extract it. Just don't do it. If you feel like the bolt's getting too snug and you feel like it's going to get loose, just stop. But like I said, 70 inch-pounds felt perfect for this. So now we're just going to work on getting this intake on. I found that around 70 inch-pounds felt like the best version. Just to give you guys an example, you know, like I said, right here about 70 pounds. 1, 2, remember you start in 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. I just don't feel like doing it all over again. I'm tired. But like I said, 70 inch-pounds felt like the best number for this. Word to the wise. Only thing I had to do to kind of make this fit perfectly was just kind of make sure you don't snug any bolts down. Make sure they all spin in, and then you can start snugging them all down. Start in the middle, transition out. I'm just about to the end with this. Got my new bolts on. Everything's all around. Vacuum line going in, vacuum line going in, evap line. This is the sensor here, mounted up here, running here. I have my coolant hoses running underneath of the plenum. Remember that. Do not forget those coolant hoses. You start your car up, you're gonna have coolant pouring out the back of your motor. Not good. Let's get our intake right here, and just squeeze these together. Boom. Basically line this little dimple down here. Perfect. Just snug it up. Pull this out. Put this in. And there's a plastic clip here and here. I got a bunch of spares, so just put them where they need to go. Like that. And like this. And okay, yeah, it's nice and firm. Awesome. All right, got a lot of work done here right now. New lines, new spacer. We got intake, everything on. All these bolts are right here are for the engine cover. But first things first, we checking on everything. We have everything put back. That's what I like to see. Now all we got to do is I just got to clean off everything, and we're going to fire the car up and we're going to see what happens. All right, last thing to do is put this battery on. Might get a little spark or something. Just be ready. Okay, didn't hear much anything. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All right, and then hit this with a little bit of battery corrosive spray. Like that. Like that. Cap on. Let's get inside the vehicle. Alright, we're in the car. Let's get our key. We're not just going to turn it immediately. We're going to prime it like 2 times. Remember, we took the fuel line off. There should be no real fuel pressure in the line. So, I'm just going to crank it once to the on position. That's 1. We're going to do 2. Now 3 is the good number. Here we go. Alright. We're running, you guys. Okay. Go outside, let's look at the vehicle. And my God, you guys, she's running like a bird. Oh my God, she sounds so good. Now, I did take the battery off, so I need to let this run for a while. Doesn't sound like I need to do any kind of throttle body relearn right now. I'm gonna let it run. If I have any issues, I'll do any more recording, but she sounds so good right now. Can't wait to take her for a drive. Thanks for watching, you guys. Till next time, out. Bye.